Poverty does not arrive in one loud moment. It is not always caused by disaster, illness, or bad luck. Most of the time, poverty is built quietly, one normal day at a time. It grows from small choices that feel harmless in the moment. It comes from habits repeated without thought. When people look at their lives and ask why nothing has changed, the answer is often hidden in how they lived yesterday, and the day before that, and the day before that. These days seem ordinary, but together they quietly shape a future many never planned for themselves later. This audiobook is not about blaming the world or pointing fingers at fate. It is about patterns. It is about the simple truth that today always creates tomorrow. Every action, every delay, and every excuse leaves a mark. Over time, those marks become a life. If each day is used only to survive, the future becomes weak. If each day is used with intention, the future becomes stronger. Poverty in this sense is not a sudden fall. It is a slow construction made from daily behavior that most people never notice until years have already passed by, quietly, unnoticed, away. Many people believe poverty comes from lack of opportunity. While opportunity matters, behavior matters more. Two people can live in the same place, earn similar money, and still end up in very different lives. The difference is rarely luck. It is how they treat time, how they use money, and how they respond to discomfort. One chooses short relief. The other chooses long security. One avoids pain today. The other accepts effort now to avoid pain later. This choice, repeated daily quietly, decides which path becomes permanent, stable, and hard to escape later in life, even when awareness finally arrives. This introduction asks you to slow down and look honestly at your days, not your dreams, not your plans, your real actions. How do you spend mornings? What do you do after work? Where does your money go first? These answers may feel uncomfortable. That discomfort is important. It signals truth. Change always begins with discomfort because comfort protects old habits. If nothing feels challenging, nothing is being questioned. And if nothing is questioned, nothing meaningful ever changes. This audiobook invites awareness before advice, honesty before action, and reflection before rebuilding life step by step with patience, courage, and time. The 9 reasons in this audiobook are not labels. They are not insults. They are behaviors. Behaviors can be changed. Destiny cannot. That is why this message matters. When people believe poverty is fate, they stop trying. When they understand it is built through choices, they regain power. Responsibility may feel heavy, but it is also freeing. It means the future is not locked. It means tomorrow can be different if today is handled differently. This truth opens a door many never realized was unlocked by their own decisions, repeated quietly without thought for years, shaping results they now face. Throughout this audiobook, you will hear about time and money. These two are always connected. Money can be lost and earned again. Time cannot. Many people trade all their time for small money, then wonder why life feels tight. Short-term comfort often steals long-term security. Sleeping instead of learning feels good today. Spending instead of saving feels easy today. Avoiding effort feels safe today. But these comforts send a bill to the future, and that bill always arrives. It arrives quietly, slowly, but with force, demanding payment in stress, regret, limitation, fear, and lost opportunity later in life. This audiobook is designed to be serious, not dramatic, calm, not cruel, honest, not harsh. You are not being judged. You are being invited to observe. Observation creates distance from habits. Distance creates choice. Choice creates change. The goal is not to shame past decisions, but to learn from them. Every listener has made mistakes. What matters is whether those mistakes become lessons or remain patterns repeated again and again. This introduction sets the foundation for honest listening, reflection, and steady awareness as you move through each reason slowly, carefully, and without excuses, denial, or distraction, allowing truth to settle. Awareness is the first step to change, not motivation, not anger. Awareness. When you clearly see what you are doing each day, excuses lose power. You cannot fix what you refuse to see. This audiobook asks you to notice patterns without defense. Notice how time is spent. Notice how money is treated. Notice how fear controls decisions. Awareness may feel uncomfortable, but it is temporary. The damage caused by ignorance lasts much longer than the discomfort of truth. This truth becomes the starting point for rebuilding habits, choices, discipline, and direction with patience, clarity, and consistent effort over time, slowly. As you listen, remember this: poverty is not your identity. It is a condition created by repeated behavior. Conditions can change. Behavior can change. The purpose of this audiobook is not to promise instant wealth. It is to protect your future from slow damage. By changing how you live today, you change how you live tomorrow. Small shifts matter. Daily discipline matters. And understanding those 9 reasons is the first step toward building a stronger life. This introduction prepares you to face them honestly, calmly, and with responsibility, without blame, shame, or fear, opening space for growth, stability, and change. The chapters ahead will explore common weaknesses that quietly destroy progress. They may feel familiar. They may feel personal. That is normal. Recognition is not failure. Recognition is the beginning of strength. Each reason will show how small daily habits create long-term results. Nothing here is extreme. That is why it is dangerous. Ordinary habits shape ordinary days, and ordinary days build entire lives. This audiobook asks you to take responsibility for those ordinary days. Responsibility brings power, direction, and control back into your hands, where change always begins quietly, steadily, without noise, excuses, or delay, over time, consistently. Do not rush through this introduction. Let it settle. Let it create questions. The goal is not speed, but understanding. Many people want change without reflection. Reflection is slower, but stronger. It builds awareness that lasts. As you move forward, remember that no single day ruins a life. It is the collection of days that matters. And that means every single day ahead still carries power and possibility. This understanding encourages patience, consistency, and responsibility instead of panic, blame, or waiting for rescue that never arrives, allowing progress to grow slowly, naturally, and sustainably over time, step by step, forward. By the end of this audiobook, the goal is simple. You will see poverty differently. You will see it as something built, not given. Something learned, not inherited. Something repeated, not permanent. That understanding removes fear and replaces it with responsibility. Responsibility is not punishment. It is permission to act. This introduction is the doorway. The chapters ahead are the path. And your daily choices are what will decide where that path leads. From this moment forward, awareness begins, habits become visible, and change becomes possible through patience, effort, discipline, and repeated action, one day at a time, starting now. Chapter 1: Working Hard but Never Growing Skills. Many people believe that hard work alone will protect them from poverty. They wake up early, work long hours, and feel tired at the end of the day. They tell themselves that effort is enough, but effort without growth often leads to the same result year after year. Working hard is important, but working hard without learning new skills keeps a person stuck in the same place. This is one of the most common reasons people stay poor even while working every day. When you exchange only time for money, your income has a limit. There are only so many hours in a day. When your value comes only from your presence, not your ability, you become easy to replace. If you stop working, the money stops. If you get sick, the income disappears. This kind of work feels safe at first, but over time, it becomes fragile. Many people do not see this danger until they are already tired, stressed, and struggling to move forward in life. Being busy does not always mean being productive. Some people work all day, but never move ahead. They repeat the same tasks, the same routines, and the same habits for years. They are busy, but they are not growing. Growth requires learning. Growth requires effort in a new direction. Without learning new skills, hard work becomes a trap. The body works more, but the future does not improve. This creates exhaustion instead of progress. Skill growth increases value. When you learn something useful, you become harder to replace. Skills create leverage. Leverage means one action can produce more results. A skilled person can solve problems faster, earn more, and create options. An unskilled person must rely only on effort. Effort alone is weak because it depends on health, energy, and time. Skills remain even when energy is low. Skills continue working even when you rest. Many people believe they do not have time to learn. They say they are too tired after work, but this thinking keeps them poor. If all energy is used only to survive today, there is nothing left to build tomorrow. Learning may feel difficult at first, but it is an investment. Small daily learning creates long-term strength. Even 30 minutes a day can slowly change a life. The problem is not lack of time. The problem is how time is used. When a person has no special skill, they must accept whatever work is available. They cannot choose. They cannot negotiate. They must take what is offered. This creates fear. Fear leads to obedience, silence, and low confidence. A person with skills has options. Options create calm. Calm allows better decisions. Skill growth is not just about money. It is about freedom and control over one's own life. Many workers are proud of being busy. They believe long hours mean success. But long hours without progress mean waste. Real improvement is measured by results, not exhaustion. A person who works smarter can earn more with less effort over time. This does not happen by accident. It happens by learning, practicing, and improving abilities that the market values. Skills turn effort into results. The danger of being replaceable is often invisible. When work is simple and requires no learning, many people can do it. This lowers value. When value is low, pay is low. When pay is low, saving becomes difficult. When saving is difficult, stress increases. This cycle continues. Skill growth breaks this cycle. It raises value, income, and stability at the same time. Some people believe learning is only for young people. This belief is false. Learning has no age limit. The brain can grow at any time. What matters is consistency. Learning slowly is still learning. Waiting for the perfect moment delays progress. The perfect moment never arrives. Skill growth begins when a person decides to start, even while tired, unsure, or afraid. There is also a difference between physical labor and mental leverage. Physical labor depends on strength and endurance. Mental leverage depends on knowledge and thinking. Physical labor becomes harder with age. Mental leverage becomes stronger with use. This is why people who rely only on physical effort often struggle later in life. They worked hard, but they did not prepare for the future. Many people feel trapped because they see no path forward. Often, the path exists, but it requires learning something uncomfortable. Learning feels slow at first. Progress is not immediate. This discourages many people. They return to familiar work because it feels safe. But safety without growth leads to long-term risk. Comfort today creates difficulty tomorrow. Skill growth does not mean formal education only. Skills can be learned through practice, reading, observation, and repetition. Communication, problem solving, technical abilities, and organization are all skills. The key is usefulness. A useful skill solves a problem for others. When you solve problems, people are willing to pay. The more problems you can solve, the more value you create. Many poor workers are honest and hardworking. Their problem is not character. Their problem is direction. Effort is pointed in the wrong place. They push harder instead of learning smarter. This chapter is not asking you to work more. It is asking you to work differently. Replace endless effort with strategic improvement. Replace exhaustion with progress. Learning a skill often feels slow because results are delayed. This delay tests patience. People want quick rewards, but skill growth rewards consistency, not speed. Those who accept slow progress eventually move ahead of those who chase fast comfort. This is a quiet advantage. It grows over time. It changes the future. Another danger of not growing skills is loss of confidence. When a person feels they offer nothing special, self-belief weakens. This affects decisions. It affects voice. It affects courage. Skills create confidence because they create proof. Proof comes from ability. Ability comes from practice. This builds inner strength that effort alone cannot provide. Many people confuse loyalty to a job with safety. They stay in the same position for years without learning. They hope the company will protect them. But companies change. Markets change. Technology changes. Skills protect people, not promises. A person who grows skills carries security within themselves. This is real stability. Being busy can hide fear. Fear of learning, fear of failure, fear of looking inexperienced. These fears keep people in the same place. But learning always begins with being a beginner. Accepting this discomfort is necessary. Avoiding it creates long-term regret. The pain of learning is temporary. The pain of stagnation lasts much longer. Strategic improvement means choosing skills that matter. Not all learning is useful. The goal is not knowledge for pride, but skill for progress. Ask simple questions. What problems exist? What skills solve them? What skills are needed in the future? These questions guide learning in the right direction. This chapter invites you to rethink hard work. Hard work is not wrong, but hard work without skill growth is incomplete. It is like walking fast in the wrong direction. Skill growth turns effort into movement toward a better future. It reduces exhaustion and increases results. It replaces survival with progress. When you grow skills, you change your position in life. You move from being replaceable to being valuable, from physical labor to mental leverage, from endless effort to strategic improvement. This shift does not happen in one day. It happens slowly, through daily choices, but every small step matters. Working hard will always be respected, but working hard and growing skills creates freedom. This is the difference between being busy and building a future. This chapter ends with one simple truth. Effort keeps you alive today. Skills protect you tomorrow. Choose to build both, and your work will finally begin to change your life. Chapter 2. Depending on a single income stream. Many people feel safe when they receive a fixed salary every month. The money arrives on the same date. Bills are paid. Life continues. This routine creates a feeling of security. Over time, this feeling becomes belief. People believe that as long as the salary continues, everything will be fine. But this belief is fragile. A single income stream can disappear faster than most people expect. When that happens, fear arrives suddenly, and preparation is often missing. A fixed salary feels stable because it is predictable. Predictability feels comfortable. Comfort reduces alertness. When alertness is low, people stop preparing. They stop building alternatives. They stop asking what would happen if the salary stopped. This is how dependence grows. Dependence is dangerous because it places control outside your hands. When one source controls all income, one decision, one change, or one problem can affect everything. Many people believe loyalty to a job guarantees safety. They believe long service will protect them. But companies change. Managers change. Markets change. Technology replaces roles. Economic conditions shift. None of these changes ask for permission. When income depends on only one path, every change becomes a threat. What once felt safe becomes unstable overnight. Financial fragility means a small problem creates a big crisis. A delayed salary, a job loss, or an illness can stop income suddenly. When income stops, expenses continue. Rent does not wait. Food does not wait. Bills do not wait. This pressure creates panic. Panic leads to poor decisions. Poor decisions deepen financial damage. Many people experience this not because they are lazy, but because they were unprepared. The illusion of security is powerful. Monthly income creates confidence without protection. It feels like standing on solid ground, but the ground is thin. Real security is not about one strong pillar. It is about many supports. When one support fails, others remain. Multiple income paths create balance. Balance reduces fear. Fear reduces clarity. This is why preparation matters. Some people say they do not earn enough to create another income stream. This belief keeps them dependent. Even small additional income changes thinking. It teaches skills. It creates awareness. It reduces fear. Multiple income streams do not need to be equal. They need to exist. One small stream can become larger over time. The goal is not immediate wealth. The goal is stability. Depending on a single income also limits freedom. When all income comes from one place, saying no becomes difficult. Speaking honestly becomes risky. Taking breaks feels dangerous. This pressure affects mental health. It creates silent stress. People stay quiet even when unhappy. This is not stability. This is controlled survival. Diversification means spreading risk. It is a simple idea used in many areas of life. Farmers grow different crops. Investors choose different assets. Strong systems avoid single points of failure. Personal finance is the same. When income comes from different paths, life becomes more flexible. One loss does not destroy everything. This creates calm. Preparation reduces fear of loss. Fear grows when there is no backup. When people know they have options, fear weakens. Options create confidence. Confidence improves decision-making. This is why diversification is not only about money, it is about emotional stability. A prepared person sleeps better. A dependent person worries silently. Many people confuse effort with security. They believe working harder at one job solves everything, but effort does not remove risk. It increases exhaustion. Exhaustion reduces learning. Learning is necessary to build additional income. Without learning, dependence remains. This creates a cycle. Work, rest, repeat. No growth, no preparation, no change. Multiple income paths require planning. Planning requires awareness. Awareness begins with asking honest questions. What skills do I have? What problems can I solve? What small income can I create? These questions open new thinking. New thinking leads to new actions. New actions create new results over time. Some people believe additional income means stress. At first it may, but long-term dependence creates more stress. Short discomfort protects against long suffering. Preparation feels difficult today, but regret feels worse tomorrow. Diversification is not about doing everything at once. It is about starting slowly and staying consistent. When income stops suddenly, identity is also affected. Many people define themselves by their job. When the job disappears, confidence disappears with it. This creates emotional shock. Multiple income streams protect identity. They remind people they are more than one role. This strengthens resilience. A single income stream teaches passivity. It teaches waiting, waiting for salary, waiting for promotion, waiting for approval. Multiple income paths teach initiative. They teach responsibility. They teach problem solving. These qualities improve life beyond money. They create personal growth. Some people say they are afraid to try because they might fail. But depending on one income is also a risk. It is simply a quiet risk. Visible effort feels scary. Invisible danger feels comfortable. Preparation requires courage. Courage grows with action. Action begins with small steps. Wealth is built through multiple paths. Wealth is not only money, it is control over time, choices, and future. Multiple income streams support this control. They reduce dependence. They increase options. They allow planning instead of panic. Diversification does not mean leaving a job immediately. It means building alongside it. It means using spare time wisely. It means learning skills that can create value. Over time, these efforts compound. Slowly, dependence decreases. Confidence increases. Fear of loss often stops people from starting. They fear losing what little they have. But preparation protects what exists. Ignoring risk does not remove it. Facing risk reduces its power. Diversification is a form of respect for your future self. This chapter does not ask you to become rich quickly. It asks you to become stable slowly. Stability grows from preparation. Preparation grows from awareness. Awareness grows from honesty. Be honest about dependence. Be honest about risk. Then begin. Moving from dependence to diversification is a shift in mindset. It replaces waiting with planning. It replaces fear with preparation. It replaces fragility with strength. This shift takes time, but every step matters. A single income stream feels safe until it disappears. Multiple income streams feel difficult until they protect you. The choice is not between comfort and struggle. It is between short comfort and long security. This chapter leaves you with one clear message. Do not place your entire life on one path. Build alternatives. Prepare quietly. Reduce fear. Increase stability. Your future depends not on one source, but on your willingness to prepare for change before change arrives. Chapter 3: Pride that refuses help and advice. Many people believe they are strong because they do everything alone. They say they do not need help. They say they can manage by themselves. This belief often sounds like independence, but in reality it is pride. Pride hides behind strong words, but it creates weak results. When a person refuses help and advice, progress becomes slow, painful, and lonely. This is one of the quiet reasons many people struggle for years without improvement. Pride often appears as self-respect. People say, "I will handle it myself." They say, "I do not want to bother others." They say, "I do not want to look weak." These words sound brave, but they create isolation. Isolation removes guidance. Without guidance, mistakes repeat. Repeated mistakes waste time, energy, and opportunity. Pride feels powerful at first, but over time it becomes expensive. Struggling alone is not the same as being strong. Strength includes knowing when to ask questions. Strength includes learning from others. No one builds a successful life alone. Every strong structure stands on support. Refusing support does not make a person independent. It makes a person slower and more vulnerable to failure. Many people reject advice because they fear judgment. They worry others will think they are not smart enough. This fear is common, but avoiding advice does not remove weakness. It hides it. Weakness grows in silence. Advice brings light. Light allows correction. Correction allows growth. Without light, errors remain invisible and continue causing damage. Experience is valuable because it shortens learning time. Someone who has already failed can warn you. Someone who has already succeeded can guide you. Ignoring experience forces you to repeat old mistakes. Pride says, "I will learn my own way." But learning the hard way often means learning too late. Time lost cannot be recovered. Mentorship is not control. It is direction. A mentor does not walk the path for you. They simply point out dangers and shortcuts. Pride refuses this help. Pride says, "I know enough," but no one ever knows enough. Growth requires humility. Humility opens the door to learning. Successful people ask better questions. They do not pretend to know everything. They ask how others solve problems. They ask what mistakes to avoid. They ask where effort matters most. Asking questions saves time. Pride avoids questions and pays with years of struggle. Isolation feels safe because it avoids embarrassment. But isolation limits growth. When you work alone, your thinking stays small. When you connect with others, ideas expand. Collaboration brings new perspectives. New perspectives create better decisions. Pride blocks this exchange. Many people confuse ego with confidence. Ego says, "I am enough." Confidence says, "I can learn." Ego protects image. Confidence protects progress. Ego avoids correction. Confidence welcomes improvement. This difference decides long-term outcomes. Refusing help often comes from past pain. Some people were judged before. Some were ignored. Some were disappointed. These experiences create walls. Walls feel protective, but they also block opportunity. Healing does not mean isolation. Healing means learning to trust wisely. People who refuse advice often work harder than necessary. They solve problems slowly. They repeat mistakes others already solve. This creates exhaustion. Exhaustion reduces clarity. Reduced clarity causes more mistakes. This cycle continues. Asking for help does not remove responsibility. You still must act. But guidance improves direction. Direction saves energy. Energy can then be used for progress instead of correction. Pride also affects relationships. People who refuse advice often push others away. They appear distant or stubborn. Over time, support disappears. When problems become serious, no one is close enough to help. This creates regret. Collaboration does not mean dependence. It means shared learning. Strong people exchange ideas. Weak people hide. Learning together builds strength faster. Many successful individuals had mentors. They learned from books, teachers, and peers. They listened more than they spoke. Listening creates insight. Insight improves action. Some people believe asking for help means failure. In truth, refusing help guarantees failure. Progress requires information. Information often comes from others. Learning requires humility. Humility is not weakness, it is accuracy. It recognizes limits and seeks growth. Pride ignores limits and protects comfort. When ego controls decisions, learning stops. When learning stops, growth stops. Life becomes repetition. Repetition without improvement creates frustration. People who collaborate grow faster. They see opportunities sooner. They avoid major mistakes. They adapt quickly. Pride delays all of this. This chapter invites you to release false independence. True independence includes learning from others. It includes building support. It includes asking questions without shame. Moving from isolation to collaboration changes everything. It creates momentum. It creates clarity. It creates confidence based on ability, not image. From ego to learning is a powerful shift. Ego asks, how do I look? Learning asks, how can I improve? One protects pride, the other builds life. Asking for advice does not mean following everything. It means listening. You choose what to apply. Wisdom grows through evaluation, not rejection. Many people stay poor not because they lack effort, but because they reject guidance. Effort without direction wastes strength. This chapter is not about dependence. It is about intelligent cooperation. Growth is faster when shared. Isolation limits vision. Collaboration expands it. Pride shrinks opportunity. Humility multiplies it. Choose learning over ego. Choose questions over silence. Choose collaboration over isolation. This choice changes paths. It shortens struggle. It builds strength. Progress begins when pride steps aside and learning begins. Chapter 4. Weak social circles and narrow environments. Many people believe poverty is only about money, but relationships also shape financial life. Weak social circles are a hidden poverty trap. When a person knows only a few people and stays in the same small environment, opportunities become rare. Life begins to feel narrow. Progress slows. This does not happen suddenly. It happens quietly over many years, while days feel normal and familiar. A social circle is the group of people you regularly talk to, learn from, and spend time with. This circle influences how you think, what you believe is possible, and what actions feel normal. When the circle is small and limited, thinking becomes limited as well. If no one around you is growing, learning, or improving, growth feels unnecessary. Over time, this environment quietly shapes your future. Poor relationships do not always mean bad people. Often they mean limited exposure. When everyone around you faces the same problems, no one can offer new solutions. Advice becomes repetitive. Ideas become recycled. Hope becomes weak. This is how narrow environments keep people stuck without them even noticing. Success often travels through people. Jobs, skills, ideas, and chances usually come from connections. This does not mean luck or favoritism. It means information flows through relationships. When you know more people, you hear more ideas. When you hear more ideas, you see more paths. When you see more paths, choices increase. The cost of knowing no one is high. When problems appear, there is no one to ask. When opportunities appear, there is no one to inform you. When help is needed, no one knows your situation. This creates isolation. Isolation reduces confidence. Reduced confidence affects decisions. Decisions become smaller, safer, and less ambitious. Many people stay in the same environment because it feels comfortable. Familiar places feel safe. Familiar people feel easy. There is no pressure to change or explain yourself. But comfort without growth creates stagnation. A closed circle protects feelings but limits progress. Over time, safety becomes a cage. Loneliness is not only about being alone. A person can be surrounded by people and still feel lonely if there is no growth, support, or understanding. Strategic connection is different. It is not about having many friends. It is about building relationships that encourage learning, opportunity, and improvement. Weak social circles often develop from fear. Fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of being different. These fears keep people quiet. They avoid new spaces. They avoid new conversations. They avoid unfamiliar people. This avoidance protects emotions but damages potential. Many people believe they are not good at networking. They imagine networking as fake or uncomfortable. But real connection is simple. It begins with curiosity, listening, and respect. It does not require special skills. It requires openness. Openness allows relationships to grow naturally. Limited networks create limited opportunities. If everyone you know earns the same income and lives the same life, new possibilities are invisible. You cannot aim for what you cannot see. Exposure expands imagination. Seeing others succeed shows what is possible. This inspires action. Environment shapes behavior. When people around you value growth, you grow. When people around you avoid effort, you slow down. This influence is powerful. It happens without words. It shapes habits, expectations, and standards. Choosing environments carefully is a form of self-respect. Many people underestimate the power of association. Who you spend time with affects how you think. Conversations influence beliefs. Beliefs influence actions. Actions create results. Weak circles create weak results over time, even with effort. Expanding exposure does not mean leaving everyone behind. It means adding new connections. It means learning from different people. It means listening to different ideas. Expansion adds layers to life. It does not erase the past. Strategic connection means choosing relationships with purpose. Purpose does not mean using people. It means mutual growth. It means learning together. It means sharing information and support. Strong relationships benefit both sides. Some people believe opportunity will come to them naturally, but opportunity often requires visibility. Visibility comes from presence. Presence comes from participation. Participating in new environments increases chances. Avoiding environments removes them. Knowing people does not guarantee success, but knowing no one almost guarantees stagnation. Relationships do not replace effort. They guide it. They point effort in the right direction. Weak social circles also affect emotional health. When no one understands your goals, motivation weakens. When no one encourages progress, doubt grows. Support matters. Encouragement matters. Learning feels easier when shared. People often stay in narrow environments because they believe change is impossible. But environments can change slowly. One new conversation matters. One new habit matters. One new connection matters. Growth begins small. Strategic connection requires patience. Trust builds slowly. Relationships grow over time. The goal is not speed. The goal is consistency. Small efforts compound. Many people feel invisible because they remain silent. Speaking up, asking questions, and sharing ideas increase presence. Presence increases connection. Connection increases opportunity. Expanding exposure also increases learning. Different people have different experiences. Listening teaches lessons you cannot learn alone. This reduces mistakes and saves time. Isolation often feels easier than connection, but easy paths rarely lead to growth. Connection requires effort, but effort creates movement. Movement creates change. Closed circles repeat the same stories. Expanded circles introduce new stories. New stories change belief. Belief changes action. Loneliness can be reduced through meaningful connection. Meaningful connection grows from shared goals, respect, and honesty. These qualities attract growth. Strategic connection does not require popularity. It requires intention. Intention guides choice. Choice shapes environment. Many successful people credit relationships, not luck. They learned from others. They were introduced to ideas. They received guidance. This is not accident. It is connection. This chapter invites you to examine your social circle honestly. Who do you learn from? Who challenges you? Who supports growth? These questions matter. Moving from closed circles to expanded exposure changes perspective. It increases hope. It increases options. It increases confidence. Moving from loneliness to strategic connection replaces isolation with support. Support strengthens resilience. Resilience protects progress. Weak relationships keep people small. Strong connections help people grow. This growth does not happen overnight. It happens through consistent effort. The cost of knowing no one is a quiet cost. It appears as missed chances, slow growth, and limited vision. This cost increases over time. Expanding your environment expands your future. The world becomes larger, possibilities multiply. This chapter does not ask you to change who you are. It asks you to change where you stand and who you listen to. Growth often begins with a simple step into a new space, a new conversation, a new habit. Connection is not a shortcut. It is a multiplier. It multiplies effort, learning, and opportunity. Choose environments that encourage growth. Choose relationships that support progress, from closed circles to expanded exposure, from loneliness to strategic connection. This shift changes life quietly but powerfully. Opportunities travel through people. Make sure you are connected to the path they travel. Chapter 5: Fear of Risk and Obsession with Loss. Many people believe they are careful, but in truth they are afraid. They choose safety not because it is wise, but because it feels comfortable. Fear of risk quietly controls decisions. It tells people to stay where they are, even when growth is possible. Over time, this fear becomes a habit. That habit slowly shapes a smaller life, built not by failure, but by hesitation. Choosing safety over opportunity feels responsible. It sounds mature. People say they do not want to lose what they already have. But this thinking hides a deeper problem. When safety becomes the highest goal, progress stops. Life becomes about protecting the present instead of building the future. This choice feels calm today, but it creates regret later. when opportunities have passed and cannot return. Fear works by focusing attention on loss. The mind imagines everything that could go wrong. Money could be lost. Time could be wasted. Effort could fail. These images feel real and heavy. Gain, on the other hand, feels uncertain and distant. Because loss feels stronger than gain, fear wins the argument. People decide not to act, believing they are protecting themselves. This imbalance is dangerous. Loss is imagined in detail. Gain is imagined vaguely. Fear uses this difference to control behavior. When people imagine loss clearly but gain weakly, they choose inaction. Inaction feels safe, but it is not neutral. It has consequences. Time continues to pass. Skills do not grow. Options shrink. This silent cost is often ignored. Paralysis caused by fear looks like patience, but it is avoidance. People wait for the perfect moment. They wait for certainty. They wait until fear disappears. But fear does not disappear before action. It fades after action. Waiting keeps fear alive. Action weakens it. This truth is often misunderstood. Many people say they are not ready. They believe readiness comes first. In reality, readiness grows through movement. Confidence comes from experience, not thinking. Avoiding risk avoids experience. Avoiding experience avoids growth. This cycle keeps people frozen while life moves forward without them. Fear of risk often comes from past pain. A loss before can create a strong memory. That memory becomes a warning. The warning becomes a rule. The rule becomes a prison. Protecting against past pain can prevent future growth. Healing requires learning, not avoidance. Inaction is also a risk. This is a difficult truth. People see risk only in action, not in waiting. But waiting risks wasted time. It risks missed chances. It risks falling behind. These risks are quiet but powerful. They accumulate slowly and become visible only later, when change feels harder. Growth requires calculated action. Calculated action is not reckless. It considers risk, but does not fear it. It plans, it prepares, it starts small, it accepts uncertainty. This approach replaces fear with strategy. Strategy creates confidence. Confidence supports action. Fear-based thinking asks, what if I lose? Growth-based thinking asks, what if I learn? This question changes everything. Learning remains even when results fail. Experience builds skill. Skill reduces future risk. This is how growth thinking turns fear into fuel. Many people imagine risk as one large jump. This image increases fear. In reality, most progress comes from small steps. Small steps limit loss. They provide feedback. They build understanding. Fear loses strength when action is broken into pieces. People often confuse safety with stability. Safety feels calm, but stability requires preparation. Avoiding action does not prepare you. Learning, testing, and adjusting do. Stability is built, not avoided into existence. Obsession with loss also affects decision-making. People focus on protecting what they have instead of improving what they offer. They defend weak positions instead of strengthening skills. This keeps them vulnerable. Strong positions come from growth, not guarding weakness. Fear often speaks loudly. It uses strong language. It says danger is everywhere. Growth speaks quietly. It requires trust. It requires patience. Learning to listen to growth instead of fear takes practice. Calculated action respects risk but does not worship it. It understands that no path is free of uncertainty. It chooses progress with awareness. This balance builds resilience. Many people delay action because they want guarantees. Guarantees do not exist. Even safety is uncertain. Jobs change, markets shift, health changes. Depending on safety alone is itself risky. Growth-based thinking accepts uncertainty as normal. It sees change as part of life. This mindset reduces fear. It allows flexibility. Flexible people adapt faster. Adaptation protects progress. Fear also drains energy. Constant worry consumes mental space. This leaves less energy for learning and planning. Action redirects energy into movement. Movement restores confidence. People who act despite fear build trust in themselves. Each step proves ability. This proof weakens fear. Over time, fear becomes a signal, not a barrier. Hesitation feels harmless, but repeated hesitation builds a pattern. That pattern becomes identity. People begin to see themselves as cautious, careful, or unlucky. This self-image limits action further. Moving from hesitation to calculated action changes self-perception. People begin to see themselves as learners, builders, and problem solvers. This identity supports growth. Fear-based thinking focuses on protecting the past. Growth-based thinking focuses on building the future. One looks backward, the other looks forward. Loss is part of life. Avoiding it completely is impossible. Learning to manage loss is essential. Calculated action teaches this skill. Many successful people experienced failure. Failure taught them what fear could not. Experience created wisdom. Wisdom reduced risk over time. This chapter does not encourage reckless behavior. It encourages thoughtful movement. Movement creates information. Information improves decisions. Small risks today prevent large risks tomorrow. Skill growth, experience, and preparation reduce long-term danger. Choosing safety forever is not safety. It is stagnation. Stagnation increases vulnerability. Fear will always exist. The goal is not to remove fear. The goal is to act with fear present. Growth requires courage, not comfort. Courage grows through practice. Calculated action builds momentum. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence reduces fear. This chapter invites you to question hesitation. Ask whether fear is protecting you or limiting you. Action does not need certainty. It needs intention. From hesitation to calculated action. From fear-based thinking to growth-based thinking. This shift changes direction. It opens paths. It restores power. Fear shrinks life when obeyed. Growth expands life when chosen. Inaction is a decision. Make sure it is not the one deciding your future. Chapter 6, A Never Saving, Always Consuming. Many people live their lives one paycheck at a time. Money arrives, money leaves, and nothing remains. This pattern feels normal because it repeats every month. Over time, it becomes a habit. Habits feel natural, even when they are harmful. Living paycheck to paycheck is not always caused by low income. Often it is caused by behavior. Consumption replaces protection. Spending replaces preparation. This habit quietly creates vulnerability and constant stress. When people consume everything they earn, they believe they are surviving. They tell themselves there is nothing left to save. They believe saving is only for rich people. This belief is dangerous. Saving is not about having extra money. It is about building safety. Without safety, every small problem becomes a crisis. Without savings, life feels unstable, even when income is steady. Always consuming feels good in the moment. Buying brings short relief. Spending creates comfort. But comfort without protection creates fear. When there is no savings, the mind is always alert. It worries about unexpected events. It worries about illness, repair, or loss. This worry never fully disappears. It becomes background noise that drains energy and focus. Emergency vulnerability is one of the strongest effects of not saving. Emergencies do not announce themselves. They arrive suddenly. A medical bill, a broken phone, a lost job. These events are common, not rare. When savings do not exist, emergencies collapse stability. People are forced to borrow, panic, or sacrifice important needs. One small event can undo years of effort. The lack of savings creates constant stress. Stress affects thinking. Stressed people make poor decisions. They choose fast solutions. Fast solutions are often expensive. High interest loans, rush choices, and emotional spending increase damage. Stress creates a cycle. No savings creates stress. Stress creates bad choices. Bad choices prevent saving. Many people confuse enjoying life with consuming everything. They believe saving means suffering. This is false. Saving is not punishment. It is respect for the future. It is choosing protection over pleasure. Small sacrifices today prevent large pain tomorrow. This trait is difficult at first, but it becomes easier with practice. A financial buffer is simple. It is money set aside for emergencies. It does not need to be large. Even small savings create relief. Relief reduces stress. Reduced stress improves decisions. Better decisions allow more saving. This positive cycle replaces chaos with control. People who never save often believe emergencies will not happen. This belief feels comforting, but it is unrealistic. Life is unpredictable. Preparation is not pessimism, it is realism. Preparing for emergencies does not create them. It protects against them. Living paycheck to paycheck also limits choice. When no money is saved, people cannot say no. They cannot take breaks. They cannot invest in learning. They cannot wait for better opportunities. They must accept whatever appears. This reduces freedom and increases pressure. Consumption-driven habits are encouraged by society. Advertising promotes spending. Social pressure encourages display. These messages are constant. Resisting them requires awareness. Awareness begins with questioning habits. Why am I buying this? Do I need it? Does it protect my future or only please the present? Saving requires discipline. Discipline feels uncomfortable at first, but discomfort is temporary. Chaos is long-lasting. Choosing discipline now prevents regret later. This is the core trade. Short discomfort for long stability. Many people say they will save when they earn more. This delays action. Without habit, higher income increases spending. Saving must come first. It must be intentional. It must be protected. Small surprises collapse unprepared lives because there is no margin. Margin is the space between income and expense. Without margin, pressure builds. With margin, flexibility appears. Flexibility reduces fear. Consumption-focused lives chase happiness through spending, but happiness built on spending fades quickly. Security built on saving lasts longer. Security supports peace. Peace improves life quality. Saving also builds confidence. Each saved amount proves control. Control strengthens belief. Belief encourages consistency. Consistency builds buffer. From consumption to protection is a mental shift. It changes how money is viewed. Money becomes a tool, not a reward, a resource, not a release. From chaos to financial buffer is a gradual process. It begins small. It grows slowly. It requires patience, but it changes everything. This chapter invites honesty. Look at spending habits. Look at patterns. Awareness comes before change. Saving is not about perfection. It is about progress. Even small amounts matter. Protection reduces stress. Stress reduction improves thinking. Improved thinking builds stability. A financial buffer does not remove all problems. It softens impact. It creates time to think. Time improves decisions. Never saving keeps people reactive. Always saving makes people proactive. Consumption feels easy. Protection feels responsible. Choose protection. Build buffer. Reduce chaos. This choice changes daily life quietly. Stress fades. Confidence grows. Money stops controlling emotions. Preparation restores calm. Living paycheck to paycheck is a habit, not a destiny. Habits can change. This chapter ends with a simple truth. Saving does not limit life. It protects it. Chapter 7. Living without purpose or direction. Many people wake up each day without a clear reason. They follow routines, complete tasks, and move through time, but they do not know where they are going. Life feels busy, yet empty. This is what it means to live without purpose or direction. It does not look dramatic. It looks normal. Days pass quietly and years disappear without clear progress or meaning. Drifting through days without intention feels easy at first. There are no hard decisions to make, no goals to chase, no risk of failure. People simply react to what happens. Work arrives, bills appear, time passes. This reactive life feels calm, but it slowly weakens motivation. When there is no destination, effort loses meaning. Energy fades. Many people confuse motion with progress. They move constantly. They work, clean, scroll, talk, and worry. Motion fills time, but it does not guarantee improvement. Progress requires direction. Without direction, motion becomes noise. Busy days can still lead nowhere. This misunderstanding keeps people exhausted but unchanged. Unclear goals drain motivation. When people do not know what they want, they do not know why they are trying. Effort without purpose feels heavy. Tasks feel pointless. Small challenges feel large. Motivation disappears because there is no reason to continue. Purpose gives effort meaning. Without it, even simple work feels hard. Aimlessness leads to wasted years because time continues regardless of intention. Time does not pause to wait for clarity. Each year passes whether goals exist or not. When people look back, they often feel shock. They ask where the time went. The answer is simple. It went into days without direction. Living without purpose creates emotional confusion. People feel restless but do not know why. They feel tired but not satisfied. They feel pressure but no progress. This confusion creates anxiety. Anxiety makes decisions harder. Harder decisions increase avoidance. Avoidance deepens confusion. This cycle continues. Purpose does not need to be perfect. It needs to exist. A simple direction is enough to begin. Direction guides effort. It helps choose what matters and what does not. Without direction, everything feels equally important. This creates overload. With direction, priorities become clear. Many people avoid setting goals because they fear choosing the wrong one. This fear keeps them frozen. But no direction is worse than imperfect direction. Direction can change. Drift cannot improve. Movement towards something is better than standing still. Clarity grows through action. Waiting for perfect understanding delays progress. Trying, learning, and adjusting creates clarity. Direction becomes clearer as movement continues. Avoiding action keeps confusion alive. Purpose also protects energy. When effort connects to meaning, energy lasts longer. People tolerate difficulty when they understand why. Without meaning, small obstacles feel unbearable. Some people believe purpose must be large or dramatic. This belief delays action. Purpose can be simple. Learn a skill, improve health, build stability, support family. Simple purposes still guide life. Living without direction often means living for short-term comfort. Comfort replaces meaning, distractions replace growth. This creates shallow satisfaction. Shallow satisfaction fades quickly. Then emptiness returns. Confusing motion with progress is common in modern life. Technology creates activity without results. Days fill quickly, but filling time is not building life. Direction gives time value. Unclear goals also affect confidence. People feel unsure because they do not know what success looks like. Without a definition of success, failure feels constant. This damages self-belief. Direction creates measurement. It allows reflection. It shows improvement. This builds confidence. Aimlessness often hides fear of responsibility. Direction requires ownership. Ownership requires effort. Drift avoids both. But avoidance creates long-term regret. Wasted years are not loud. They pass quietly. This makes them dangerous. People realize loss only later, when change feels harder. From drifting to direction begins with honest questions. What matters? What needs improvement? What future feels acceptable? These questions are uncomfortable but necessary. From confusion to clarity requires patience. Clarity is built, not found. It develops through thinking, trying, and learning. Purpose does not remove difficulty. It gives difficulty meaning. People with direction still feel tired, but they feel satisfied. Satisfaction protects motivation. Without direction, life feels like waiting, waiting for something undefined. This waiting never ends. Direction turns waiting into building. Living without purpose also affects decision-making. People choose based on mood, not meaning. Mood changes. Meaning lasts. Clarity reduces anxiety. Anxiety thrives on uncertainty. Direction reduces uncertainty. Some people say they are not ambitious, but direction is not ambition. It is intention. Everyone needs intention. Even small direction improves life quality. It organizes effort. It reduces waste. Confusion drains energy. Clarity restores it. Purpose does not need public approval. It needs personal honesty. Living without direction creates dependency. People follow others' plans. Direction restores independence. Drifting allows life to decide for you. Direction allows choice. This chapter invites you to stop drifting, to pause and reflect, to choose direction intentionally. Direction may feel uncomfortable at first. It requires commitment. Commitment creates pressure, but pressure creates growth. Clarity comes from asking simple questions repeatedly. What am I doing? Why am I doing it? Where is it leading? Answering these questions changes life slowly. From drifting to direction is a shift from reaction to intention. From confusion to clarity is a shift from avoidance to awareness. This shift does not happen overnight. It happens daily. Each day with intention builds momentum. Each decision guided by purpose strengthens clarity. Living with direction does not guarantee success. It guarantees movement. Movement creates learning. Learning creates improvement. Improvement builds confidence. Confidence supports further action. Aimlessness ends when direction begins. Wasted years are replaced by meaningful effort. This chapter does not demand perfection. It invites direction. Choose a path. Walk it. Adjust as needed. Clarity grows with use. Purpose protects time. Direction gives effort meaning. Without purpose, life feels empty. With purpose, effort feels worthwhile. This is the difference. From drifting to direction, from confusion to clarity. This choice changes everything. Chapter 8. Spending to impress instead of to build. Many people spend money not to improve their lives, but to impress others. They buy things to look successful, even when they are not stable. This habit is common and quiet. It does not feel dangerous at first. It feels normal. People believe appearance matters. They believe respect comes from what others see. Over time, this belief becomes a powerful force that shapes spending, behavior, and financial results. Image-driven spending focuses on how life looks from the outside. Clothes, phones, cars, food, and lifestyle become tools for display. These purchases are not made because they are needed. They are made because they send a message. The message is simple. I am doing well. This message may impress others for a moment, but it does not protect the future. Buying approval instead of assets is one of the most expensive mistakes people make. Approval fades quickly. Assets remain. Approval depends on others' opinions. Assets depend on ownership. Approval creates pressure. Assets create stability. When money is used to buy approval, it disappears. When money is used to build assets, it grows or protects. The silent pressure to look successful is everywhere. Social media, advertising, and comparison create constant reminders. People see others traveling, buying, and celebrating. They compare without context. They do not see debt, stress, or insecurity behind the image. This pressure pushes people to spend beyond their limits. They chase a picture, not a plan. Status consumption delays real wealth because it uses resources meant for growth. Money that could be saved, invested, or used to learn is spent on things that lose value. These purchases feel good for a short time. Then reality returns. Bills remain. Income stays the same. Stress increases. Many people say they deserve to enjoy life. Enjoyment is important, but enjoyment without control becomes damage. There is a difference between living well and living to impress. Living well supports the future. Living to impress steals from it. Image-driven spending often comes from insecurity. People fear being judged. They fear looking unsuccessful. They fear being ignored. Spending becomes a shield. The shield looks strong, but it is fragile. When money runs out, the shield breaks. Validation feels powerful because it feels like acceptance. Compliments feel good. Attention feels rewarding. But validation is temporary. It must be purchased again and again. This creates a cycle. Spend to feel accepted briefly, feel pressure again, spend again. This cycle never ends. Independence begins when approval is no longer needed. Independence means making choices based on values, not opinions. It means using money intentionally. It means building quietly instead of showing loudly. Spending to impress often hides financial weakness. People with real stability rarely need to show it. They focus on substance. They focus on protection. They focus on growth. Appearance becomes less important when security exists. Status consumption also affects mindset. People begin to believe success is about showing, not building. This belief shifts priorities. Learning feels less important. Saving feels boring. Building feels slow. Showing feels fast. Fast rewards win over long-term results. From appearance to substance is a powerful shift. Substance means real value, skills, savings, assets, health, knowledge. These things do not need display. They work quietly. They protect life when attention disappears. From validation to independence is also emotional growth. It requires confidence. Confidence grows when people trust their decisions. Trust grows with discipline. Discipline grows with clarity. Many people feel pressure from family, friends, or culture. Expectations exist. These expectations are real, but obeying them at the cost of stability creates long-term pain. Respect gained through spending is shallow. Respect gained through consistency lasts. Building real wealth is often quiet and slow. This makes it invisible. Invisible progress feels uncomfortable in a world that rewards display. But invisible progress is strong. It creates options. It reduces fear. Spending to impress also delays maturity. It keeps people focused on reactions instead of results. Results matter more. Results create freedom. People who build assets focus on ownership. Ownership creates income, protection, and leverage. Approval creates none of these. This chapter is not against enjoyment. It is against sacrifice of the future for image. Balance matters. Intention matters. When spending choices are guided by what will people think, independence is lost. When guided by what will help me grow, independence appears. Status consumption creates noise. Building creates structure. Noise attracts attention. Structure supports life. Many people confuse confidence with display. True confidence does not need proof. It rests quietly. The shift from appearance to substance changes behavior. Spending slows. Thinking deepens. Planning improves. The shift from validation to independence changes identity. People stop performing. They start building. This chapter invites honest reflection. Why do you buy what you buy? Is it for need, growth, or approval? Awareness creates choice. Choice creates change. Image fades, substance remains. Approval disappears. Independence stays. Choose what lasts. Chapter 9. Fantasy without action. Many people live inside dreams instead of reality. They imagine a better life, better income, better health, and better future. These dreams feel good. They bring comfort and hope. But dreaming without action slowly becomes a trap. Fantasy replaces effort. Thinking replaces doing. Over time, nothing changes, even though the mind feels busy. Dreaming without execution is common because imagination is easy. It costs nothing. It does not require effort, discipline, or risk. A person can imagine success while sitting still. The mind creates pictures of achievement, respect, and comfort. These pictures feel real for a moment. They create emotional satisfaction. But when the dreaming ends, life remains the same. Talking more than practicing is another form of fantasy. People talk about plans, ideas, and goals. They explain what they will do someday. Talking creates the feeling of progress. Others may listen and encourage them. This attention feels rewarding, but talking does not build skill. It does not create results. Without practice, words become noise. Escaping into imagination instead of effort protects comfort. Effort requires energy. Effort creates resistance. Effort risks failure. Fantasy avoids all of this. Fantasy allows success without struggle. But success without struggle is not real. Real progress always requires action. Wishing feels productive because it creates hope. Hope feels like movement, but hope without action is passive. It waits. It delays. It asks for change without contributing effort. This waiting can last years. During this time, ability does not grow. Discipline does not develop. Opportunity passes quietly. Many people confuse intention with execution. Intention is deciding what you want. Execution is doing what is required. Intention feels good. Execution feels difficult. Because intention is easier, people stay there. They tell themselves they are motivated. But motivation without action fades. Fantasy often grows from fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of starting badly. Imagination offers safety. It allows control. In imagination, everything goes right. In reality, mistakes happen. This contrast pushes people back into fantasy. The problem is not dreaming. Dreaming is necessary. The problem is stopping there. Dreams should guide action, not replace it. When dreams become escape, they weaken discipline. Talking about goals can also reduce urgency. When goals are shared too early, the brain feels rewarded. This reward reduces pressure to act. People feel satisfied before work begins. This satisfaction delays execution. Practicing is uncomfortable. It exposes weakness. It shows gaps. It requires patience. But practice builds ability. Ability builds confidence. Confidence supports further action. This chain only starts with practice. People who stay in fantasy often believe they are preparing. They watch videos, read quotes, and collect ideas. Learning is important, but learning without application becomes distraction. Information without use creates illusion of progress. Escaping into imagination can feel harmless, but over time it steals years. Each year spent dreaming without action is a year without growth. This loss is silent. It is noticed only later, when comparison becomes painful. From fantasy to discipline is a critical shift. Discipline means doing what is necessary even when motivation is low. Discipline is action without emotion. It does not wait for feeling ready. From intention to execution is also a mindset change. Execution accepts imperfection. It allows mistakes. It focuses on progress, not image. Many people wait to feel confident before acting. Confidence comes after action, not before. Acting builds evidence. Evidence builds belief. Fantasy often focuses on results. Discipline focuses on process. Results are distant. Process is immediate. Focusing on process makes action manageable. Execution breaks big goals into small steps. Small steps reduce fear. Fear weakens as steps repeat. People trapped in fantasy often fear starting small. Small feels unimportant, but small is powerful. Small actions repeated create momentum. Momentum changes identity. People begin to see themselves as doers, not dreamers. This identity supports discipline. Wishing feels productive because it avoids responsibility. Execution accepts responsibility. Responsibility feels heavy but empowering. Fantasy protects ego. Execution tests it. Ego prefers safety. Growth requires challenge. Talking more than practicing also affects reputation. Over time, words lose value. Trust decreases. Self-respect weakens. Practicing builds quiet confidence. Confidence does not need announcement. Escaping into imagination delays skill development. Skills only grow through repetition. Repetition requires discipline. Many people say they are waiting for the right time. The right time rarely arrives. Execution creates timing. Fantasy often focuses on external change. Discipline focuses on internal change. Internal change lasts longer. From fantasy to discipline is moving from comfort to effort. From intention to execution is moving from thought to reality. This chapter invites honest self-observation. Are you dreaming or doing? Are you planning or practicing? Dreams without action create frustration. Action without dreams creates direction. Discipline does not remove fear. It moves despite fear. Execution is not perfect. It is consistent. Each action weakens fantasy's power. Each step builds real progress. Fantasy ends when discipline begins. This chapter does not judge dreaming. It demands balance. Dream, then act. Intention matters. Execution decides. Choose discipline. Build reality. Breaking the cycle and reclaiming tomorrow. This audiobook has explored 9 reasons that quietly make tomorrow poorer than today. These reasons are not labels. They are not judgments. They are patterns. Patterns are repeated behaviors that shape results over time. When patterns stay the same, outcomes stay the same. When patterns change, outcomes change. This is the most important truth to remember as you reach the end of this journey. Poverty is often misunderstood. Many people believe it is inherited or permanent, but poverty is rarely a single event. It is built slowly through daily habits, repeated choices, and avoided decisions. It grows when effort is misdirected, when fear controls action, and when awareness is missing. This does not mean people are weak. It means they were unaware. Awareness changes everything. Each chapter showed a different pattern: working hard without growing skills, depending on one income, refusing help, staying in narrow environments, avoiding risk, never saving, living without direction, spending to impress, dreaming without action. None of these patterns appear dramatic. That is why they are dangerous. They feel normal. They feel safe. But over time, they quietly limit progress and reduce stability. Personal responsibility does not mean self-blame. Blame creates shame. Shame creates paralysis. Responsibility creates power. Responsibility means understanding that while the past cannot be changed, the present still matters. It means recognizing that tomorrow is not controlled by fate, but influenced by today's choices. This understanding is not heavy. It is freeing. Change always starts with awareness. Before action, before discipline, before planning, awareness must come first. Awareness means seeing patterns honestly. It means noticing habits without excuses. It means asking uncomfortable questions. Awareness does not require immediate solutions. It requires attention. Attention creates clarity. Clarity guides action. This audiobook does not promise quick wealth. It offers something more valuable. It offers protection from slow damage. It offers a way to stop repeating patterns that quietly weaken life. Small changes, repeated daily, rebuild stability. No single step fixes everything, but every step matters. Tomorrow improves when today changes. This is not motivation. It is reality. The future is shaped by daily behavior, not future wishes. Disciplined practice today protects tomorrow. Learning started today creates options later. Saving begun today creates safety in the future. One day does not transform a life, but many days in the same direction do. Poverty is not inherited. It is repeated. This repetition can be stopped. When habits change, outcomes follow. When fear is replaced with preparation, stability grows. When confusion is replaced with direction, motivation returns. When fantasy is replaced with execution, progress begins. Discipline is often misunderstood. Discipline is not punishment. It is self-respect. It is choosing what matters most over what feels easiest. Discipline creates structure. Structure reduces chaos. Chaos drains energy. Discipline protects it. Clarity is equally important. Without clarity, effort is wasted. With clarity, even small effort matters. Clarity does not require perfect plans. It requires honest intention. Direction gives meaning to work. Meaning sustains motivation. Courage is the final piece. Courage does not mean absence of fear. It means acting despite fear. Fear will always exist. Growth happens when fear is not obeyed. Courage grows through action, not thinking. This conclusion is not an ending. It is a pause, a moment to reflect, a moment to choose. You can return to old habits, or you can begin changing patterns slowly. There is no pressure to do everything at once. Consistency matters more than intensity. You do not need permission to change. You do not need perfect conditions. You need awareness, patience, and steady effort. Start small, build quietly, protect your future. Life improves step by step. Stability grows through daily decisions. Tomorrow is not waiting to be saved. It is waiting to be built. The cycle can be broken. The future can be reclaimed. It begins now with awareness, responsibility, and one intentional choice at a time.